pandemic, we saw some teachers go to flip learning as an emergency to cover their content. And some may not have learned or figured out that it goes beyond just using videos to teach content. Students are not used to learning actively from videos, that they watch movies and other videos passively, but to learn content from a video, there are things that you have to do as a teacher to help students learn from a video. So, for example, you may want to have a note template sheet. So you provide a skeleton of the notes and students fill out those notes. In addition to note taking, you also want to have some checks for understanding. These are questions that students can answer during the video. They can be embedded in the video by using things like Nearpod or Edpuzzle, um, as well as you can have these checks for understanding after the video. So they can be some kind of short online assessment that students complete after the video. You may also want to have some kind of forum for students to ask questions if there's something that comes up in the video that they don't understand as they're watching those videos at home. I call those pre-questions because what you can do is before you start your class, you can look at the questions that students have and incorporate that into the design of your next class. I would also suggest having some kind of feedback form for students to give feedback about your videos. And it's not that you necessarily have to use that actionable data in the moment, but perhaps in the summer, as you're thinking about editing your videos, you can prioritize those that you receive negative feedback from your students. And I've received a lot of feedback over the years. Here's just a sampling of some of the video feedback that I received. And this was actually helpful. Some of the comments I hadn't realized. For example, there was one video where I created the note sheet in the video at like completely different times. And therefore my video note sheet and my video didn't match up. And I wouldn't have known that if my students hadn't reminded me of that fact. Now, you might be thinking that offloading direct instruction to video only relates to teaching content, but there are many ways you could use video in your class. For example, you might introduce your course to students, administrators, and parents at back to school night by using a video, or for those who are absent to back to school night with a video explanation of your class. You can explain a project to your students with the instructions and expectations. I know of some English teachers who have flipped the writing conference. So they'll give feedback to a piece of work that a student has created and provide the explanation and feedback via video, and then use that to set up a conference. You can use it as an engaging hook or trailer to preview a unit or an activity. You can have students create videos. Videos are a great way for students to demonstrate their learning, or if they're documenting a process, a project, for example, they can use video for that, or to provide evidence of having completed some kind of hands-on activity at home, for example. And then when I first started making videos, before I started using it for teaching content, I actually used it to demonstrate how to use software. So how to use a website or how to create graphs using software. So there are other ways that you can use video in your courses that's not just about teaching content.